Wonder, how exactly does America produce one of the world's most famous drinks at such an unbelievable scale? Well, we're going to take a chronological journey straight down the production line to find out. We'll see exactly how these giant robots and precision machines operate in complete harmony to prevent even the tiniest hiccups. Because honestly, at this crazy speed, one tiny error could waste thousands of bottles in a matter of minutes.
Section 1. The perfect formula.
Every single bottle starts its life with something surprisingly simple, but it has to meet some seriously strict standards before it gets to be Coca-Cola. It all kicks off with water, but obviously we're not talking about just turning on the tap here. This water goes through a rigorous, multi-step purification journey. First up, microscopic filters. Then, it gets blasted with UV light, followed by some heavy-duty advanced treatment. The whole point is to strip out literally any microscopic impurity, giving them a totally pure baseline to work with.
Once that water is absolutely perfect, in comes the magic, the famous secret syrup. This highly concentrated mix packs in the sweeteners, natural flavors, caramel color, and acids that give it that signature taste. From there, computer-controlled machines take the wheel, mixing this syrup with our purified water in exact, completely uncompromising proportions. And I mean exact. At this massive scale, if even a single drop was off, it could ruin the recipe for millions of bottles and cost an absolute fortune in wasted product.
Next up, we bring it to life by adding the fizz. They inject carbon dioxide directly into the liquid under high pressure. But it's actually a super delicate balancing act. You don't want the drink tasting flat, right? But you also definitely don't want to build up dangerous levels of pressure. So an army of high-tech sensors constantly monitors the temperature, the pressure, and the exact carbonation levels in real time as those iconic bubbles get injected.
Section 2. Birth of the bottle.
Now, you might assume that a factory like this just receives trucks full of empty, ready-to-fill bottles. Actually, scratch that. Instead, they get shipments of these tiny plastic tubes called PET preforms. They honestly look way more like scientific test tubes than that classic contoured soda bottle shape we all know. But shipping these tiny preforms instead of full-size bottles is a total logistical game changer. It saves massive amounts of space and fuel, meaning one single truck can deliver what would normally take an entire fleet. To actually transform them, every single one of these tiny preforms is run through a heating element. They're baked to exactly 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Hitting that precise temperature is crucial because it perfectly softens the rigid plastic, making it totally pliable and ready for the next dramatic step. And this next step happens in literally just a few seconds. Powerful machines grip those softened preforms, stretching them out while simultaneously blasting them with highly compressed air. The hot plastic is blown outward against a mold, and bam, it instantly takes the shape of a full-size bottle. Freshly made and honestly still warm, they immediately merge right onto the high-speed conveyor belts.
Section 3. The high-speed filling line. All right, this brings us to the absolute heart of the factory floor. When you hear the number 1500, remember, we are talking about a single minute here. The pace on this floor is just blindingly fast. Some of these production lines are filling over 1,500 bottles every single minute. Hundreds of those freshly blown empty bottles converge from multiple belts into these massive rotating filling machines. The precise coordination it takes to whip objects around at this speed without them shattering everywhere is a total marvel of modern engineering. Human hands just couldn't keep up with even a fraction of this pace.
To actually handle that kind of speed, each bottle slides beneath a nozzle and gets filled in literally a fraction of a second. Computer-controlled systems guarantee absolute perfection for every single drink. Not a drop more, not a drop less. Then almost instantly, automated capping machines swoop right in to seal them up tight. This locks in that fresh carbonation we talked about earlier before a single bubble has the chance to escape.
Section 4. Relentless quality control.
But hey, speed means absolutely nothing without standards, right? Even at this breakneck pace, with millions of bottles flying by in a literal blur, every single one is rigorously inspected before it ever leaves the building. It seems impossible to check them all, but automation pulls it off. An intricate network of high-speed cameras acts as the eyes of the factory, scanning every passing bottle for 5 key things in real time. They're instantly calculating. Is the fill level perfect? Is the cap secure? Is the bottle shape uniform? Is the label dead center? And how's the overall packaging quality?
But they aren't just relying on cameras. The system goes even deeper. Laser sensors are deployed to hunt down defects that are completely invisible to the naked human eye. If a laser catches even the tiniest microscopic flaw in the plastic or the liquid itself, That specific bottle is instantly and automatically kicked right off the production line. And the best part? It doesn't slow the rest of the system down for even a millisecond.
Section 5. From factory to fridge.
Once the bottles survive that grueling inspection, they roll out of the filling room and into this massive packaging area. This is where robotic arms seamlessly group them into 6, 12, or 24 packs. Other machines whip around to wrap them in recyclable plastic film or drop them into cardboard cartons. Finally, these giant palletizing robots step in to lift hundreds of pounds of finished product, perfectly stacking cases onto wooden pallets. They do all this heavy lifting without ever getting tired, without complaining, and rarely ever making a mistake.
From there, automated guided vehicles, which are completely driverless by the way, transport these massive, incredibly heavy pallets out of the packaging zone and into enormous holding warehouses. Out there, thousands of supply trucks are just waiting to be loaded up. From this loading dock, the drinks start their journey out to supermarkets, restaurants, stadiums, and corner stores all across the country.
Because this whole automated symphony is so incredibly fast and efficient, it completely redefines how we think about a supply chain. In fact, it leaves us with a pretty wild thought to ponder. The very Coca-Cola you buy today might have been nothing more than purified water and raw syrup just a few short hours before you actually opened it. So the next time you crack open a cold one, just ask yourself, how fast did this actually get from that high-speed line directly into my hand?